All right, we are ready to get started. Thank you, everybody. It is Thursday, April 9th. This is a meeting of the Albany County Pine Hills Land Authority. Thank you for coming and watching. Before I do call to order, I just want to acknowledge our newest member, Jim McFawn. Jim, not to put you on the spot, but you want to do a quick introduction and just a little bit of background on
Sure.
your experience in the Pine Hills area?
Yeah, thank you. So Jim McFawn, I've lived in the Pine Hills area a little over 20 years, probably closer to 25 years at this point, but time is man-made. I was an active member of the Pine Hills Neighborhood Association, the Upper Madison Street Fair Executive Team. I'm ward leader of Albany's 14th Ward, and St. Rose is something near and dear to me. I graduated here. I brought my children here all the time to play on the green spaces. So I'm very grateful to be at this table.
Great, thanks. We'll do a call to order. And roll call. So Allison Wilson present, Jasmine Higgins.
Here.
Sarah Janelli. Here. Alejandro Polino.
Here. Danielle
Melendez.
Here.
Peter Gannon is excused but may be watching in, and Jim McFawn.
Here.
Our next item on the agenda is the Board of Directors Chair nomination. Tom, do you want to
Sure,
read the resolution?
So it's on page 3 of your board packet. As you know, Chairman Mazza had resigned immediately following the last board meeting. So this is a resolution that, in accordance with our bylaws and enabling legislation, that would, if the board so chooses to do, would basically nominate, elect, and appoint Allison as the chair. She had served in the vice chair prior to Chairman Mazza's resignation. So that's it.
Okay. Do we have a first?
Good morning, Peter.
We will do a roll call vote. I will abstain. Jasmine?
Yes.
Sarah? Yes. Alejandra?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Thank you. We will now review the meeting minutes from our last meeting, March 12th. They can be found on pages 4 and 5 of your agenda packet. Are there any comments, questions, notes about the last meeting, minutes from the last meeting? Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I just want to point out, I'm going to just suggest an amendment to, this is just something I missed, but we lost quorum, we'll actually do one meeting was adjourned, because at that point, the meeting was over.
Okay.
So it'll just, there was a few minute separation, I'm just going to make the minutes exactly at noon. So, yep.
Okay. Move to pass the meeting minutes. I have the first.
I'll move it.
Second. Alejandra, there you go. All in favor? Opposed? Next, we will open up to public comments. If we have anybody in the meeting who would like to make any comments, we just ask that you keep it to 3 to 5 minutes.
Go first, I'll follow up.
This podium.
One, the big one. Hi. Good morning, I'm Susan Rizzo, Albany County Controller. I just want to compliment, the committee and, we're making some changes, which I understand. But I just want to point out one conflict I think there is before the resolution is approved, that you entertain this concern. There's a finance agreement between Albany County, Pine Hills Land Authority, and Albany County. Section 3.1 is the funding clause. AB2 basically indicates that the reimbursements are approved by the Commissioner of Management Budget, who is now going to be also the new CFO, who is going to have signing abilities on the checking account. So it's a conflict for him to be approving signing the checks and approving for Albany County Pine Hills Land Authority, and then approving the invoice for Albany County. It does go through audit. So this agreement, this finance agreement will probably need to be amended if you want to keep it that he's on the checking account, the CEO could be on the checking account, and that way you wouldn't have to change this, but it all depends on how you want to entertain it. If he wanted to delegate to one of his staff members from the commission to management budget, then it might be a conflict because he's their boss, and that could put somebody in a precarious position. So I don't know how you want to entertain that, but I would just like you to consider it because it's going to be brought up as a conflict. But I agree, change is always good. Everybody did a really good job. Amy, did a great job as a CFO, and Kevin as a CEO. And I look forward to the change. Thank you.
Anybody else before I go? John, you wanted to say something?
Usually so many people, what
How unusual.
I gotta fill up the time, right, Kevin?
Absolutely.
You know I'm going to be talking about you at the top of this, right?
For sure.
Good morning, everybody, and so happy to be here with you on this beautiful morning at kind of a transition point, for the authority. And I just wanted to take a moment, as I often do, and celebrate where we've come, and where we're going. For the record, I'm John Wallner, Pine Hills resident and a great friend of the Mastery Center since the very beginning. So today I'd like to start by thanking you, Kevin, for getting us to this point. I've proposed a lot of collaborations in the package I shared with the board last month. It's a collaboration that would not be possible if it weren't for standing up the authority, bonding this thing, buying the campus, getting some buildings sold. So sometimes, we're at the point where we're pushing back and forth at one another, Kevin, but I want to take this time to say thank you. We couldn't be at this point looking at this next phase, without you, without your leadership, and without the skills that you built up over decades. Okay, I probably could shut up now, but I've got some other thank yous. So I said to you this morning, Allison, thank you for stepping up. I will dearly miss the people who are on the board, but I'm so happy that we have leadership from someone here in Pine Hills, someone who has economic development chops and connections and a knowledge of this campus and a desire to move things forward. So welcome, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the new capacity here as well. Jim, we met this morning. Welcome. I said to you earlier, having that Rotarian spirit, I think, is really important. At this point, we now have some opportunities for collaboration and for really, how do you guys say it? Whatever, uniting the world for good. And I think that's the collaboration we've got here. I think that's it. So welcoming you, welcoming Peter, add some strength to the board. I will also say how deeply I appreciate the commitment that Chairman Mazza and John Nigro have made. Chairman Mazza brought the depth of connection to this campus and this community, and the desire to make this transition as seamless as possible and as good as possible for the people who have a long stake in St. Rose. And to John Nigro, who pushed for collaboration with academia, with the arts, all of that. So the board package that I sent to you all before the last board meeting, I guess I got it a little there too close, but I'm sure you can see now why I thought it was important that you guys should see that before the good conversation that you had, last month. And I certainly am not privy to what goes on in an executive session, but I want to say that I am appreciative of the kinds of collaborations and the need to work not just with businesses, but also with academia, with the arts, with donors, with other people. And that collaboration looks to be a really good model for that. So with that, a couple of final things. Madam Chair, we have a very solid group of friends at Mastery. I hope we will find ways to incorporate this. Chairman Mazza knew this and would reach out, at times. And I'm always here to bring, advice and support. I wait outside of executive sessions if there's ever anything you need. I'm here. The same to board members individually, happy to build collaborations that help this process move forward and be successful. What else can I cut out? So yeah, it's just an important dialogue, and I just want to reiterate how important the Mastery Center itself is to the overall development of this complex. If we can get that right, it connects with this building, it connects with Centennial Hall, it connects with some of the things we've talked with the county executive about what could be the future of the campus over on this side around there. Way too early to talk about that, but there are provisions to do wonderful things that could bring businesses as well as residents here and build this campus up. So welcome to this new phase. Congratulations on getting to the point we can do this. Welcome soon to the good team from the county who've been great collaborators in this, and looking forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Okay, I think we can move on to our next agenda item, which is the CFO report.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Quick updates on the financials, which are on pages 6 through 11 in your packet. These are through February 28th this year. On the balance sheet, item to note is the long-term liability of the debt is roughly $34.5 million. This is before the bond pay down of the $12 million from the sale of Centennial Hall and the excess debt reserve, so that number now sits at about $21 million. Moving on to the P&L, a couple of items. Albany County expense reimbursement year to date is $1.8 million. Total payroll costs are $173,000. Utilities are $154,000. The property insurance was renewed in March for a modest increase of 2%, and it will be a lot less this year with the sale of the buildings. Any questions? And Paris is finalized.
All right, any questions for Amy? All right, thank you, Amy. Our next item is the CEO report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. And there are some things that I'd like to go through in the public session and a couple of new developments that I apologize to the public that we're going to have to go into, that I'd recommend you go into executive session to discuss, because there are some negotiated issues that yet to be determined. Maybe just to start this out with, you're all familiar that First Columbia has made an offer for this building. We have an LOI in, and we have a 90-day explanatory statement that's been issued. And with us today is Kevin Betty, the principal of First Columbia. And Kevin, I'd like to invite you up to make a few comments on the project and the status thereof. I know there are things you can't talk about all this as well, these negotiations, but maybe just some comments on where you're at.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for inviting me. I think this is an incredible opportunity, and I think the way you guys are forming the authority is very smart from the real estate world. My job is bringing jobs here. I'm going to re-energize the campus by bringing new jobs into the campus. That's the reason we're interested in purchasing it. Kevin's been instrumental in helping put everything together. We need to take a look at how to repurpose all these buildings. With the losses that you're seeing on the board, we would be happy to lend our expertise. I have a lot of experience in doing master plan campus redevelopments. I enjoy working with the city. When I first got out of college, I used to live here in the Pine Hills, my wife and I. And we feel very passionate that we need to pay attention to this campus here and how it will affect the future really of not only this Pine Hills area, but the city of Albany. So we're happy to be involved. I think we're going to be successful with bringing some really high quality jobs here, and we look forward to whatever else we can do to assist.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. I should add that, the development with First Columbia, if we're able to bring to fruition, will put this building back on tax rolls for the first time ever. This building has never been on tax rolls in the city of Albany, and we all know how, those of us who live in the city of Albany, we all know how important, oh, hi, Sarah, I didn't see you sneak in. We all know how important that is to get properties back on the tax rolls. Let me just give a brief update on a couple of transactions we have in the works. As you know, the Henry Johnson Charter School built a bid on the alumnus hall, and that is still moving along. Dylan and I hosted a meeting of their board to walk through the building. Board was very impressed and I'd say excited about the prospect of moving here. Their 90-day statement has in fact come due, actually last month, back in March. I know there've been some conversations that they've had with the county over food service and athletic use of the EAC, the Events Athletic Center. And the next part of it is that I asked if Dustin could be here, but I've forgotten that this is spring break week, so he's not around. But the next thing I think is to hear that their plan of financing for the as you directed me to inquire of them about. So I think at your next meeting, it might be a good idea to have them and see where they are on that. Just generally speaking, what they usually do is issue tax exempt bonds through a third party as a way to finance it, and they secure they service the debt with the charges back to the school district of the children that are enrolled in the charter school. So, but we'll have to see from them exactly what their plan is, and I know that was important to all of you. We also have the and I asked Paul Goldman just to kind of update the board. Many of you know, we closed on Centennial Hall. That was the transaction between the Pine Hills Land Authority and the University of Albany. And Paul makes the easy ones look hard. And I'm kidding. Paul did a great job moving that transaction along. It had slowed down, and Paul did a great job on that. But Paul, you want to give the board just a brief summation of how that wrapped up? And
It wrapped up for the price of $12 million. It closed, the money was sent to the bondholders, so it's all went kind of seamlessly. I just circulated a contract for the joint pieces 908 and 912, so when that goes through, so since we had worked on the contract, so anticipate contracts out on the other two, so it should be pretty seamless. But it went smoothly. I think everything just kind of went, just kind of got all the real estate worked out with the generator in the back. It's all set.
So about the two adjoining properties, these are the two properties for those of you who aren't completely familiar. Going east down Madison Avenue on the corner of Partridge, right across the street from the church. We have issued the 90-day statement for those two properties. So that's something that, on expiration of that 90-day period, you will have to decide, how you would like to proceed with the sale of those two buildings. The university offered you $500,000 for those two buildings, and that's the price that we put into the 90-day statement. So that'll be 3 months from now. But I think Paul is spot on to get the purchase and sale agreement in place and negotiated, because there were some delays on the Centennial Hall because of things that probably could have been done earlier and were left to the last minute. So, any questions on any of those transactions? Okay, so we do have some other activities on several buildings that I would like to leave for executive session because there are sensitive negotiations and publicity, as Tom said, publicity which could affect the ultimate outcome. So That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. So moving on to other business, we do have a CRESA update on here. Zach is not available for this meeting, but we've been working closely with Dylan. So Dylan's just gonna give a brief update on what we've been working on across the board, and then we'll go into some more details in executive session about things.
Sure.
it's sensitive to.
Good morning, everybody. So it's going to be really brief, just because we're going to talk in executive session about some of the outstanding items. However, Zach has been really fantastic. He's been helping be the lead essentially on all the incoming prospects that have been coming to us with potential interest in the campus. He's spoken with a number of different qualified buyers, but also potentially partners from the community who have specific uses that they're looking to find a home for. He's also been very instrumental in helping us draft some of the planning material and sort of requests for disposition of properties, anything like that we're working on. He's been very helpful with, and we look forward to continuing to work with him. If anybody has any questions, I'm sure I can pass them along to him, or you guys can ask us yourselves. Thanks.
Next item is the authority management transition.
Yeah, let me just kick this off, because there's been a lot of chatter out here about what this all means. And, I agree with some of the members of our public who said that this is an inflection point, and in fact it is. But this is the point at which this inflection presents a conflict of interest for the Alliance in its staffing of the authority. As many of you know, we also staff 4 other agencies, 4 other economic development agencies in the county, and some of which I suspect, not the least of whom being Mr. Betty, is probably going to be coming to the county for IDA benefits or some other type of support. So there does, there will exist a conflict as we go ahead with projects that we might be providing some kind of incentives to locate on the campus. So this is really the right time to do this. And, I think, at last week's board meeting of the Advanced Albany County Alliance, they approved the assignment of their management agreement to the county. Tom was involved in doing all the paperwork on that. And maybe at this point, I'll turn it over to Tom to kind of just walk through what it is, in fact, you're being asked to approve here, and there's a couple of different pieces to it.
So the next several resolutions deal with this management transition, as Kevin said. I'll start with the first one, which is on page 12. This deals with, or asks the board to authorize the authority for the chair and vice chair to negotiate and execute basically documents that would allow the assignment by the Alliance of their role in management of the authority to be assumed by the county. So that's what this this resolution lays out. There's particular parts of the legislation, the enabling legislation of the authority that specifically authorize this, and those are cited, they're laid out in the resolution. The first several whereas clauses go through the specific parts of the act that give the authority this, the Pine Hills Authority, this power, this purpose to be able to proceed with this agreement. And as Kevin, I won't repeat what he said, the next several parts of the resolution talk about both the accomplishments to date, where the authority sits with respect to its development efforts at the Pine Hills, St. Rose campus, and then also the potential conflict that Kevin discussed. And then finally, the whereas clauses get to the actual grant of the authority to the chair and the vice chair to basically negotiate and execute any necessary related documents, including but not limited to amendments, modifications, terminations, assignments, assumptions, consents. If you remember that this board earlier, several months ago, already authorized all of the property maintenance and operations to be assumed by the county. So in some ways, it is a change, but you've already authorized a significant portion of that management and operations to go to the county already. And so this would be the next step in that. So subject to any questions, Madam Chair, I'll be quiet.
Two things. First, I want to just flag, Mrs. Rizzo said about the
Yep.
conflict. Just could we refer that to council? Is that something that we should?
Yeah, and I've looked at the agreement. Thank you, Madam Controller. That was a great statement. So I think what I would like to do is take that resolution and we could keep the CEO involved. He's not the individual, as she's pointed out, mentioned. And we could amend that agreement. We would need the county to be okay with it and actually have those reports that are now currently scheduled to be sent monthly to the Commissioner of OMB, as Ms. Rizzo pointed out, to the chair. And then we would keep it on the authority side for those approvals. And we can see, this is just me thinking as we're talking about it, we would need to work that through with the county and council. But that was my thought. So if we were to pass that resolution, we could keep the CEO as the person who's signatory. That's not the conflict, if there is a conflict. I don't want to get that ahead of myself. But then condition anybody further on, further review. Okay?
And I also just wanted to give Mike a chance to talk if you had anything to add on the agreement, kind of in Harborside or not.
Well, I may, sure, this is Dan, I'm sorry, Mike.
Sorry, I just want
This is Dan, Tom's point, I just think since this was just pointed out, I think, maybe just a review of what the internal controls are.
Yeah.
Because it, to a certain extent, I just think I want all of us to at least be familiar with our internal controls. I think as written, I do not see it as a conflict considering of some of the things that.
Yeah, I need to look, to be fair, I agree.
need to look at our internal controls.
I may come to that conclusion the same, but having just heard it now, I want to look.
Which is why I think to, assume or commit to doing something that we may actually not necessarily need,
Agreed.
because our protocol may already provide for such. So I just want to be very clear that we may not need to, considering our own internal controls. And certainly, there are other things that the county does look at, and we are the ones that are approving, essentially what we're paying for, to a certain extent. So that I just wanted to put that in there.
And there'll be further items probably that we need to review as we go down this road. This is not
Yes.
probably the first step. Yeah, do you want to say something?
I just want to, I understand about the internal controls. The biggest issue is bank, is being a signer on the bank. That's having the commissioner of management budget be the CFO is not the concern. The concern is also having the authority on the bank account is my major concern. But, and then we can also revise the finance agreement to change the person and not necessarily this resolution.
Okay.
So if we wanted to approve the resolution, but the concern is the bank account and being a signer on the bank account is a bigger concern.
Okay, thank you.
So that's in the subsequent resolutions. I'll cover that. This is the resolution currently before the board.
Okay. Mike, do you just want to add anything before we?
Sure. So I just want to say that Albany County was picked up where the Alliance left off with a seamless transition to ensure that you as a board continue your vital work for redeveloping the St. Rose campus. We're committed to maintaining momentum, minimizing disruption, and advancing all the opportunities. But I also really want to sincerely thank Kevin O'Connor, as well as Amy, Sarah, Dylan, and everyone else from the team who were so dedicated to this process because we could have not gotten here without you guys.
Definitely echo that. Alright. So we're ready to go on these resolutions? Okay. The first
On the first one anyway.
Sure. First resolution 260402. Do we have a first? Second? Do you need a roll call?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
I'm in favor, Jasmine Higgins, Sarah Denelli,
Yes.
Alejandro Polino,
Yes.
Danielle Melendez,
Yes.
and Jim McVon.
Yes.
Great. The next one is at page 15 of your packet, and this is the appointment, again pursuant to the enabling legislation and our bylaws. Now with the management transition being approved, we will need to appoint a new CEO and CFO. That's what you see before you. There will be an amendment, as we discussed, in the subsequent resolution, but for this one, that's what we do. So subject to any questions, we appoint Michael Lally as the CEO and David Riley as the CFO.
Any comments or questions? For resolution 260403, we have the first. Sarah?
I'll second.
Alejandro? Okay. I am in favor, Jasmine Higgins.
Yes.
Sarah Denelli.
Yes.
Alejandro Polino.
Yes.
Danielle Melendez.
Yes.
And Jim McVon.
Yes.
Great. And then our third one.
Yeah, that's great. So this one is on page 16 of your packet, the resolution number 4. And this is to appoint, as the controllers already discussed, basically banking officers. You have what's called in the legislation an investment officer, people to deposit funds, and then withdraw funds called a requisition officer. Those are terms used in the enabling legislation. So I would move or request the board move this forward. We are going to remove Dave Riley right now, subject to further review, but Michael Lally will be included as well as the chairperson and the treasurer, Ms. Walsh and Ms. Ricciardo.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this resolution? For resolution 260404, first.
I'll move.
Right, second.
I'll second.
Thank you. I am in favor, Jasmine Higgins.
Yes.
Sarah Denelli.
Yes.
Alejandro Polino.
Yes.
Peter Gannon, or I'm sorry, Danielle Melendez.
Yes.
And Jim McVon.
Yes.
And we know you're here, Peter. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, is that what goes?
Madam Chair, just for clarity's sake, and I know it's may go without saying, but at my age, I've come to the conclusion that nothing goes without saying, but that Amy Thompson and myself will be removed from those bank accounts as well in this transaction. Madam Chair, I would like to just make a brief comment on, since this is going to be our last meeting staffing it, Sarah, Amy, Dylan, myself, I just want to take a moment to thank the county executive and all of you on the board for the opportunity to serve as your CEO of the Albany County Pine Hills Land Authority. It has been a real privilege for Sarah, Amy, and I to work alongside such a committed group of and thoughtful group of volunteer public servants. Unlike your staff, you receive no remuneration for all the hours and work you put into this. But together we stepped into a complex and high-profile challenge and made real, tangible progress. Something you should all be proud of. We stabilized and advanced the future of the former College of St. Rose campus, created a clear framework for redevelopment, and helped position these properties to once again serve as assets for the Pine Hills neighborhood and Albany County as a whole. I think, again, this work was not easy. It required collaboration, patience, and a shared belief that thoughtful planning can create lasting community benefit, which is exactly what you did. I'm proud of the foundation we built, one that balances economic opportunity with neighborhood integrity. I'm especially grateful for the trust you placed in me and my team. The professionalism of this board and the dedication of everyone involved in this effort was really commendable. While I'm stepping away from this role, I will be supporting your efforts in my other capacity as CEO of the Alliance and the related economic development agencies. I remain confident that the authority is well positioned for continued success, and I look forward to watching the next chapter unfold. I leave you in good hands with Mike Lally and Dave Riley as your new CEO and CFO. And just once again, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to serve. It's really been fun. I know we had some tough discussions and interactions along the way, but I think you guys did really great work. And this is a very unique thing that you did. There aren't a lot of people around the country who've done this, and you did. And again, my congratulations. Thank you.
We thank you too, Kevin. I know the feelings are mutual among board members that we've only had good experiences with you and the staff. I mean, Sarah, Amy, Dylan, they've all been great as well. Just like a small anecdote too, I've started going to workout classes at St. Rose in the evening, and it is bustling. I mean, I walk here, I get a workout in, there's people coming and going. It's just like there's energy on the campus, and you know, the alternative could have been something much, much different. So I think we should all, you know, be proud of what we've accomplished so far, and there's still a lot more to do, and excited to start this new transition to the next phase, but we've done a lot so far, so. All right, I think we have a few items we need to address in executive session.
Yeah, so the purpose of the executive session would be to discuss potential disposition of real estate, the publicity of which would substantially affect the value thereof.
Okay, yeah, and we will ask Mike, Lally and Dave Robert to stay, and Dylan has to stay as well. So can I get a, first move into executive session? Okay. Great. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you.